I'm sure you've heard of Mob Psycho, and if you've heard of Mob Psycho, that means you probably find the name Reigen Arataka familiar. Now, it's a common stereotype that gingers have a fiery personality, but Reigen takes the fire and puts it under his customers who all seem to have come out the womb incorrectly, and the result is probably the most ridiculous psychic business model you've ever seen. Here we've got a request for an exorcism from this ugly lady. See what I mean by come out the womb incorrectly? But not gonna lie, she might need some exorcism because what the hell is wrong with her face? She got the Jenna Ortega face shape without even needing the plastic surgery. Anyways, Reigen is gonna exorcise a ghost that's been haunting Jenna Ortega's dreams and is charging 12,000 yen. Now, before watching this, I already heard that Reigen was one of the biggest frauds of all time, but I did not understand his greed until I saw the 66% tax on this service. In any case, these dumbasses actually agreed to the exorcism, and on the way there, Reigen tries to prove some kind of legitimacy by saying that this guy is an evil spirit. Now, forget the butt chin, this guy's got a whole ball sack for a chin. Reigen eventually meets the evil spirit and he uses his special attack, Salt Splash! Well, that didn't fucking work, so we call in our boy Mob, who starts walking with the craziest aura I've ever seen from a middle schooler. So, after table salt, you brought a middle schooler? You god. This is Mob, Reigen's student. So why did Reigen need to call up Mob to finish the exorcism job? Well, that's because Reigen is a fraud and Mob is the real deal psychic. Mob and Reigen are back at Reigen's office and our boy Mob gets 300 yen from that 20,000 yen exorcism. Now our boy is getting the shit exploited out of him. Mob is wondering why Reigen would call him for such a weak spirit, and Reigen is just like, yeah, my powers are so strong, I'd accidentally melt bystanders if I were to use them on a spirit that weak. So I had to call you to finish the job, Mob. Now it's time for Mob to go to school. But this ain't just any middle school, and you'll see why in just a bit. Mob is in math class, dozing off. So what's the answer, Mob? And Teach caught Mob lacking, like bro started sweating bullets. Oh no. And our boy has got the whole class laughing. After Mob survives the hell that is school, Reigen hits him up for another job about an evil spirit in this tunnel. Nothing interesting really happens except for Mob pulling a domain expansion out his ass. Anyway, soon after, Reigen is talking with another customer about how his fatigue is due to curses hiding in porn sites. Yeah, Reigen is doing anything he can for that bag. I respect the hustle. And somehow bro massages the guy so well that he starts having an orgasm. While this is happening, the telepathy club at school has lost a member, and the student council says that if they don't find another club member within a couple days, then they'll get evicted. So in order for them to keep their club, they go around school asking people to join and eventually find Mob. The president, Tomei, is trying to seduce Mob to get him to join their club, and Mob is just like, Tomei, huh? That's my grandma's name. Okay. Mob doesn't actually want to join this fuck-ass club and then gets a call from Reigen on the spot. Looks like I gotta dip you guys. And bro leaves right then and there. Today, Mob and Reigen get a call to a girls-only school, but they didn't get permission to go in, so now our exorcism duo are dressed like femboys. Reigen might want to do a little shaving to get through the guards, but Mob, on the other hand, with that face and jawline, bro could pass as a middle school girl any day. The spirit they gotta exorcise is this pervy-ass dude haunting the school to look at middle school girls all day. Damn, this Bruce Banner looking dude is straight up a pedophile. And Mob hits him with a 1, 2, 3, and the Hulk's chunks just start blowing everywhere. Right before he disappears, the spirit asks Mob if he's living every day to the fullest. But that's my question for you, bro. Was looking at middle school girls living life to the fullest for you? Mob is back at school and the telepathy club is about to get evicted, but this time the student council brought some backup. Yeah, these grown-ass men with sideburns are Salt Middle School's body improvement club members. What the hell are they feeding these kids? The student council is asking Mob if he actually wants to join the telepathy club, and Mob is just trying to bag the middle school huzz and remembers hanging out with his crush Tsubomi. Tsubomi, check this out. Oh my god, Mob, that's so cool. You're amazing. I'm only showing you these things, Tsubomi. Alright, I'm bored. What else can you do? Huh? I said I'm bored. What else can you do? Nah, Tsubomi was for real using Mob like a court jester. This girl trying to get him to do tricks and shit. Mob, you gotta find better than this. Anyways, for the sake of bagging Tsubomi, Mob decides to join the body improvement club with his definitely not middle schooler sized classmates. After tiring himself out in the body improvement club, Mob is going home and comes across this freaky ass lady. And not gonna lie, I would be sprinting out of there if I was Mob. But me and you know full well that Mob can't run for the life of him. Hey, you wanna come with me? Nah, I'm good. You'll be popular. Our group is not suspicious at all. Yeah, not suspicious at all, huh? Mob is immediately thrown on stage along with two other people, one of his classmates, Masato, and this other dude, who is probably the cult's target audience. Let's call him John. The cult leader, Master Dimple, takes the stage and preaches about laughing to become happy. That's a bunch of hogwash. Who brought this guy? We found him sleeping in a park bench under some newspapers. Nah, they just exposed his ass. John is distraught. The audience puts the smile masks on Mob and John, but Masato is thinking that this whole thing is hella suspicious. Rightfully so. I'm the ace reporter of Salt Middle School. Pipe down, Masato. Nobody cares about your middle school reports. Right after this, John is laughing his ass off after removing the smile mask, and Masato has gotten cursed too. But the mask doesn't work on Mob. I'm a dip. Wait. Let's play You Laugh, You Lose. And you already know Mob is rocking that shit out the park because bro is an apathy demon. But then Dimple starts playing dirty and spikes Mob's drink. Dimple is trying his hardest to get Mob to smile, like bro hits him with a point blank laughing curse, but Mob did not even smirk. Not even a twitch of the eye, nothing. Wow, kid, you must be such a loner because you can't even smile. Can't even laugh with your girl, huh? And Dimple did not know what he just did because Mob's crash out meter has capped out. Dimple tries to get to Mob, but is knocked back by his barrier, and bro is still throwing insults at Mob until he realizes that this kid has him outclassed. Hasn't even moved a single muscle and is still beating his ass. So Dimple goes all out, dashes in, but then Mob just cuts off all his limbs without shedding a single drop of sweat. Dimple is just lying on the ground, eyes and mouth agape, saliva on his face, nose running, not a good look. Dimple tries to land one more attack, taking a page out of Meadows Grande's book and using a Sero. It's a direct hit, but bro starts celebrating way too early because when he goes in to finish the job, Mob knocks Dimple's blade away and gives the two fingers in between the eyes like Itachi to Sasuke. And Dimple just pops like a goddamn balloon. The next day, Mob wakes up and Dimple has the nerve to show up in Mob's house acting all buddy with him, and Mob's crash out meter immediately goes up by 20%. Bro is not having it with Dimple, but Mob lets him be since he's not doing anything bad right now. We're back at Salt Middle School, and the middle school delinquents, aka Metal Bat, Saitama, Genos, and Random Kid, ask the Body Improvement Club members to take down the guys from Black Vinegar High School since they all got beat by this blonde-haired kid named Teru. The big boys say that fighting is dumb, and for whatever reason, Saitama thinks he's tough because he goes in for a punch on these guys twice his size just to get picked up like a goddamn toddler. In any case, the Body Improvement guys ain't fighting anyone. But Metal Bat has a plan involving Mob to get them to fight. Thanks to Metal Bat's help, Mob has been kidnapped. But let's keep it a buck, if Mob got serious, he could win a 20v1. But it's chill because the Body Improvement Club majestically dispatches all of these level 1 grunts. But then the kid that beat up Metal Bat takes the stage, and bro pulls the 8 trigram 64 palms and just knocks all the big boys into the air. At this point, it's pretty clear that this kid, Teru, is using psychic powers. Teru must think he's Kizaru because bro pulls out this move, like he did not have to do Metal Bat that dirty. In the dust that was kicked up, Mob is just standing around not phased at all, and Teru has got butterflies in his stomach since he's never seen someone else with psychic powers, and Blondie immediately goes in for the kill, but Mob is just hella confused, just asking to be friends. This kid is scared for his life, like bro, chill out. Define doing too much. Like, look at this kid. Then Blondie enters his fruity ass stance. Like, why does bro attack in this I gotta pee pose? Teru is about to attack, but then Mob remembers when Reagan told him not to use psychic powers on other people, and Dimple and Mob start chatting up a storm. Oh! Teru starts twisting at Mob like a can, and after Teru flings Mob all over the place, Dimple knows Mob ain't gonna fight back, so he subs in. Hey kid, we can call it a draw, right? The fuck you talking about? And Dimple goes macho mode. Let's go, Dimple. Okay, never mind. Mob is not having this shit, saying that Dimple was actually a decent guy compared to Blondie. And at this point, Teru is just trying to get Mob to use his powers, but all he gets out of Mob is an ouch, that hurts, still with this expression plastered on his face. Then Teru pulls out knives from this conveniently placed box. Anyways, Mob blocks Teru's barrage, and one of the knives bounces back into Teru and shaves the top of bro's head. dead. Nah, Teru's looking like Melody from Hunter x Hunter. But let's keep it 100%. That was completely Teru's fault. Blondie turns his tie into Excalibur, trying to be like King Arthur, but bro missing some of the hair. Then Teru does this. Like, you are not tough. Mob just does not want to hurt Teru, and he soul reads Teru, saying that they're the same and that they don't have confidence in themselves since they can't do shit without psychic powers. But Teru is not pleased, looking like an Attack on Titan Titan. He's even got the Titan run. Bro is still trying to make Mob use his powers, and Mob uses all his strength to punch Teru. Nah, no shot, that's your strongest punch. Come on, square up. And Mob collapses. Bro's got an unknown % crash out. Mob has thrown away his morals and starts ripping the school apart with his pure aura. Teru tries to block Mob's attack, but he is not having it no more, stripping the clothes off his Baldy and throwing Teru and half his school building into the sky. Once everyone is back down, Mob is just like, shit bro, my bad. And it sounds like Teru has finally chilled out and has realized that Mob was actually right about not having confidence in himself. So the biggest loss there was Dimple. No. Mob's crash out is the talk of the town, but nobody actually knows that Mob did all that. So everyone just starts calling our boy White Tea Poison because bro was wearing a white t-shirt while putting Teru in his place. And now Mob has all the gang leaders looking a scrap. After school, on the way home, Mob's brother Ritsu gets invited to some quote-unquote psychic power awakening lab. And we're all thinking that they probably meant to invite Mob, but Ritsu, being jealous of Mob's psychic powers, decides to go in his place. Mystery Awakening Lab over here has used Daddy's money to transform an apartment into this crazy ass laboratory, and has also gathered the not so fantastic 5, who have the weakest abilities we've seen yet. There's the guy that puts more effort into bending a spoon with his mind than it would take to bend one with your hands, the girl that can use clairvoyance with a 60% success rate, also known as guessing, Minecraft Steve and Pac-Man who can use telepathy but only on each other, and glorified lighter. But that's literally it for now. Fast forward a bit and we see the student council president and Ritsu alone in a classroom, and goddamn, the only thing bro is missing to pass as a senior is the gray hair. I might as well call bro Gramps because of that saggy ass skin. Gramps wants to get delinquents out of the school by framing them for doing things, and the first thing he wants to do is put girls' recorder pieces into Metalbat's desk. And Ritsu's just like, alright. But later in the day, when people find out, Ritsu is not pleased, while Gramps is having the time of his life. We're back at the lab with Ritsu and the lab master, and bro is like, man, the fuck am I even doing? I'm a dip. I don't even got psychic powers. And right after he leaves, lab master looks at the spoon and is shivering in his timbers because Ritsu bent that shit like he was crushing a can. Once Ritsu is back home, he finds Dimple waiting outside the door, which is proof that Ritsu has awakened his powers. But more importantly, this also means that Dimple is back and he's recovered from being disintegrated by Teru. Ritsu's just like, shit, if you're an evil spirit, well... Dimple ain't gone yet though, because he still needs someone to possess, and it seems like Ritsu is the perfect candidate. So Dimple proposes a partnership between the two. Ritsu tests his power on some spoons, and once he succeeds, he puts on this devious ass look. They also figure out that if Dimple controls Ritsu's psychic output, he can have better control of his psychic powers. But the real question is, why the fuck is bro's Pocari Sweat that color? Anyways, Grams and Ritsu are still planting false evidence, and it turns out that Ritsu's power is being fueled by the corruption and guilt he feels after framing delinquents. Nah, bro even went back to the lab to flex his powers on the 5 weaklings. On the way home, these guys are trying to fight Ritsu because of the false evidence he's been planting, but bro goes all out and starts laughing his ass off. Like, bro, you just knocked out a bunch of normal people, shit ain't funny at all. But then Teru comes back to teach Ritsu a lesson, and this time he has the most beautiful wig I've ever seen. Nah, he even got the girls on the other side of the road enamored by his magnificent hairdo. Being a changed man, Teru says not to live relying on psychic powers, but Ritsu still thinks he's all that and tries picking a fight. Huh? You think you're tough, huh? Yeah, go eat my ass, kid. But bro's aura was so immense that his wig was about to fall off. So Teru postpones his ass beating while Ritsu scampers away. Loki, that's completely fair. Our boy could not let the girl see the melody cut. Gramps and Ritsu are still out and about framing people, and then Baki pulls up looking for White Tea Poison, and Ritsu just lays Baki out with a single palm. But then Gramps starts catching the most devious strays from schools across the entire region, since everyone is assuming he's White Tea Poison. Nah, Gramps even got the crows checking to see if he's dead. He's looking like a Plants vs. Zombies zombie after getting thrashed by these gangs. And then eventually the gangs figure out, hey, maybe this guy that we're beating up over and over again isn't actually white tea poison, and then they gang up on Ritsu, who is still not white tea poison, but whatever. Right before that happens though, Teru happens to be nearby and gets mobbed to the scene of action as soon as possible. But first, Ritsu pulls out all the stops, not even trying to hide his telekinetic power. He freezes everyone in place, blasts these goons with wind, throws them into each other's faces, indents this Goliath of a middle schooler into the ground, and then gives a speech about having the freedom of violence. And after all that, these level 1 grumps are still trying to jump his ass. But then Mob pulls up, and Ritsu's just standing there looking like a clown. Alright, let's scrap. And Dimple is out of there because he knows Mob is about to beat Ritsu's ass. Unfortunately for Dimple, Ritsu has gotten the hang of psychic powers, so he's chilling, even without Dimple's help. But come on, Ritsu, you cannot be pulling the I'm getting serious face and then push Mob like 5 feet backwards. Oh my god, you have psychic powers, this is great. You've wanted them for so long. I've always admired you out of fear because I never knew what you'd do to me if I was mean to you. And now that I've acquired these powers, it seems I don't even care about you anymore. Nah, that's cap. Fight me or no balls. And Mob, being the goat he is, doesn't even fight at all and apologizes to the gangs on behalf of Ritsu for beating them all up. But first, can we talk about this dude with the bowling lane hair? Like, that tongue movement cannot be your default laughing expression. But that's when this guy in a purple hoodie slams Ritsu's face into the ground. Nah, if the guy I just lost a 20v1 to just got beat up with one hit, I'd be running for my life. But all these goons are just standing around as if he's on their side. Now, they even try to attack this guy. Like, did you not just see what just happened? Hell, even Mob got flung to the side. Well, it seems like this guy's goal is to kidnap Ritsu, but Mob is not letting that shit happen. Our boy slams Purple Hoodie into the ground, revealing this Phineas cut. But then Mob gets countered by a kick into a gut punch and another side kick. But Mob has put up a barrier this time, so Phineas is just like, man, let's end this. And uses his powers to strengthen his arms and flash steps to Mob, giving him a punch to the face and a kick to the gut. This is the most Mob has ever been hurt, so we know this Scarface is strong. Mob's got tears streaming, nose running, insides bleeding. He is getting cooked, getting his barriers broken through and everything. So Mob has to get serious. And before he even attacks, Phineas is already groveling because of the aura Mob is emitting. Phineas tries to land an attack on Mob, but he just catches this bitch with one hand, slams into a wall, blows through 2 air vents, but Phineas gets a little downtime and thinks he's slick. And when he tries to attack, his fists just bounce off Mob's barrier. Not a good look, bro. Then Mob brings Phineas from roof to ground level of this building, but Phineas ain't done yet. Our boy slashes Phineas with the wave of a single hand. In the midst of combat, everyone realizes that Mob is white tea poison because of his white t-shirt. I'm just saying, these level 1 grunts should run the fuck away from you. What is happening? Are these guys that stupid? But then Phineas uses this goofy ass spray to knock Mob out and immediately dips with Ritsu. While this is happening, the Awakening Lab is also being attacked, and whatever group was responsible for Ritsu's kidnapping was also responsible for the kidnapping of the 5 pushover psychics. We're back with the gang, and Mob is thinking that this was all Dimple's doing. Our boy was about to exorcise the goat. But then Teru explains what he thinks actually happened. Previously, people from this organization called Claw have tried to kidnap Teru. Claw is a group that has discovered a way to manufacture psychic powers. Apparently, they take child espers, brainwash them, and raise them as soldiers. But their ultimate goal is to conquer the world with psychic powers. Claw's upper echelon, called the Scars, is made up of people that have fought their boss and come out with a scar on their face. And as we saw before, Phineas and the guy that attacked the lab both had scars on their face, meaning they were part of that upper echelon. Right after finishing, Mob stands up and leaves as if bro knows where Ritsu is. Calm down and think. I think I can win. Damn, we have not seen Mob like this before. That one-liner was tough as hell. In any case, we gotta figure out where Phineas took Ritsu, so Dimple suggests checking out the Awakening Lab. Once they get there, they team up with the brunette, and soon after, another guy from Claw has come to get Mob. Now, which one of you is Kageyama? Nah, bro thought he was cool, but he got caught with no issues whatsoever and was turned into a brutal source of information for these middle schoolers. Now Mob and Teru know where the hideout is and even the names and abilities of the members. After all that, Teru is still trying to wring out more information, and this man is just like, I did not sign up for this when I joined Claw. Give me a break, kid. If I was bro, I would be embarrassed out of my mind. Then we're with the kidnapped kids in a jail cell, and for the first time in this show, these guys are talking talking to the middle schoolers as if they are talking to children, kindly explaining Claw's deal and asking if anyone wants to join. Alright kids, we're Claw, and we want to help people like you by taking— Holy shit, this is getting retarded. Well, that didn't last long. In any case, the kids are acting like they don't have psychic powers, hoping that they'll be let out if Claw thinks that they're just normal kids. But then Minecraft Steve gets brought into another room by this guy with a grandfather claw chin, and then comes back into the main jail room with Steve looking like this. All of the kids are rightfully shaken in their boots, but eventually Ritsu's just like, alright, let's get going. But Pac-Man is still grieving over his brother. Oh, Steve? Steve's chillin'. Yeah, so since the brothers are telepaths, Steve and Pac-Man have been talking with each other. Steve says that he was shown the rest of the pushovers dead as well, so this is probably some type of illusion ability, seeing as everyone is still okay. Ritsu has a plan to get out, but bro doesn't even remember anyone's names. Don't worry, Ritsu, I've got the same problem. Just as a reminder, she has 60% success rate clairvoyance, aka the power of guessing, telekinetic powers that are probably weaker than the average human body, glorified lighter, and then Steve and Pac-Man who can communicate telepathically. Ritsu has come up with a plan to escape, and I know bro is trying to stay humble, because let's keep it 100%, he did not need anyone's help to open the cell door. Despite everything, the guards have caught on. We'll use your super strong telekinesis and firepower to get us out of here. Sorry, we're a little too weak to do that. So now the kids gotta go and find Steve, and using the girls' clairvoyance, it's actually not that hard. These kids are able to find and save Steve with no resistance, like this old guy folded under zero pressure, telling his goons not to fight kids with psychic powers cause they'll get clapped. And not gonna lie, he's real for that. Like, I don't think even sending 100 mundane people against Ritsu would end up in their favor. Like, just look at Ritsu making the phrase "putting heads together" into a reality. But then this ginger shows up, and bro is not playing around, because we don't even get a fight scene before finding Ritsu collapse on the ground. Meanwhile, Teru and Mob have floated over to the hideout with the Scar's guidance, and right as they leave him alone, bro's ego gets the better of him, and he goes back with his psychic whips to throw trees at Teru and Mob. Yeah, what did we expect? Anyways, Teru copies the Scar's whip technique to grab the guards stationed at the hideout and knock them out. Honestly, Teru's pretty clever being able to copy that shit. Dimple possesses one of the guards, and the gang makes their way in. The guards on the cameras alert the upper echelon of Claws, and Phineas must be insane, because bro wants to spin back and go for a round 2 with Mob. I don't got time for this shit. And Phineas gets packed up. Teru, Dimple, and Mob split up at this fork in the road, and first we get Dimple's point of view, where he gets jumped by 6 psychics. But even though Dimple is weakened to all hell, he is still able to easily dispatch these guys. That's when Suguru Geto comes in, and he's able to make evil spirits his pets. Bro's got that 10 Shadows Toad and that one girl's dead pet from Sword Art Online. Dimple is getting his ass whooped, but then figures this guy's whole deal out, and realizes that the cursed spirits immediately return to their master, since this guy is just like Mob. Without his powers, he's got the strength of a summer ant. Honestly, I would not have picked that up in battle. Dimple ain't that weak after all. Now that Dimple knows Geto's weakness, he pulls this move and just dips. Geto sends his spirits through the door, and they straight up get stuck. Like, there's no shot this Scar just fumbled that hard. Once the evil spirits are stuck, Dimple goes back into the body and tries to land the final punch against the Scar, but then Geto whips out 2 more spirits from his belt, and goddamn, bro is prepared with all those capsules. Dimple is seeing the incoming ass beating, and our boy gets thrown into a jar where Geto pretty much has evil spirits fight like gladiators until the strongest one remains. Let's pray for Dimple, y'all. On the other hand, Teru has learned a thing or two from the delinquents and is ordering these claw grunts around by trying to figure out what happened to the kidnapped kids. But then bro gets ambushed by this guy with a jawline almost as sharp as Kratos' voice actors. This is true pyrokinesis. Like, this dude is pretty much a living gas leak. Even though Teru is blocking all the fire, he's essentially created a greenhouse with all the hot air trapped inside the barrier. But then Teru realizes that all the flames are coming from the Scar himself, and he just puts a barrier over the enemy, and that's that. We've now created the world's first fire force infernal. Our boy took the phrase "got cooked" a little too seriously, and he gets jumped and knocked out by 2 other claws, so it's not looking good for the middle school gang. Meanwhile, Mob has somehow gotten himself surrounded by wooden dolls controlled by this little girl. Why the fuck are these little kids so involved with things like beating people up? So this girl excitedly goes over to Mob to quote-unquote play, but let's be honest, she's one of those creepy puppet master types who'll probably try to rip Mob into pieces. But Mob does not play around with these non-human enemies, and little Miss Puppet Master runs away crying up a river. Now Big Lipped Lady is after Mob because he made the little girl cry, and Mob sends her flying towards a pillar, but she's able to break through his telekinesis to land a flying punch. This girl is super fast, but Mob isn't really fighting back and starts crying. Hey, you came this far, so why are you crying? My master told me that men who beat up women are the biggest losers in the world. I give you permission to beat me up. Nah, Mob sent her through 4 layers of walls and left her just like that. I low-key feel bad for her because she was kind of chill. Then they send one more scar after Mob and... My bad, bro. I'm kind of in a hurry right now. Right after, Mob finds Ritsu collapsed on the ground after being beat up by that ginger kid. And then Grandfather Clock Chin, I'll call him GCC for short, shows Mob an image of Ritsu bleeding out on the ground. But that was GCC's biggest mistake because that's when Mob's crash out meter capped out and he reverses the illusion back into GCC, resulting in bro floundering around like a fish out of water. Like, damn, bro is drooling, crying, and having a seizure all in one. As always though, after crashing out, Mob collapses and then the ginger shows up again to bring Ritsu and Mob down into the room where Teru is being held. But it's okay, because our goat Reagan is on the way. Our resident fraud pulls up to the hideout acting high and mighty like the goat he is. Bro is exuding confidence never seen before, and eventually all these grunts assume he's the boss of the entire organization, and all the lackeys start following him as if he's Jesus H. Christ in the flesh. What is happening? Reagan has fraud built into his system, but it's actually working. Ritsu, you got a plan? I guess we should just wait and conserve our energy. Aight, Mob, let's head out. Reagan is barging in as if bro is picking up his kids from daycare. So, why do you have them trapped in here? You know that's a crime, right? We're sorry, sir. So everyone just leaves, but that's when Reagan and the rest of the gang come across the big shots of the Division of Claw. Those being the Claw's 7th Division leader and the rest of the 7th Division Scars. Reagan gives a heartfelt speech for his followers to run away and do something good with their lives. And after everyone skedaddles, Fraudkin tries to run away too. But the division leader collapses the ceiling to block the way, and now the middle school trio plus mundane human Reagan are forced to fight. Mob squares up, but we already know that bro needs to crash out to actually be useful in a fight. So Reagan hits the division leader with the drop kick of the century. This bitch really got cooked just like that. Now the division leader thought he was intimidating, but he just got folded by Reagan of all people. And now he's just looking like a banana on the ground. Reagan stands up for the gang so that Mob doesn't have to fight and pulls out the hypnosis punch. Our goat punched this guy so hard that his entire face is trying to recede back into his skull. But then the enemies actually log in, starting with the leader's black hole powers, which literally open a hole in this multi-story building. Clone guy pushes Mob with his clones, but Mob is able to disperse them. Teru protects Ritsu from one of the clones and then gets attacked by Glasses. He gets knocked down a couple stories and hides while collecting rebar to strike back. Trying to clear the way, Glasses collapses a wall just to reveal a rebar barrage, but Glasses is actually clean with it because he deflects all the rebar, and while Teru is preparing his next barrage, Glasses dashes forward, almost cutting Teru in two. But our boy is able to turn his body so that the blade cuts a little bit off the top. But both you, me, and Glasses know that this look suits him much better. While this is happening, Reagan and Mob are pitted against Ghetto. Man, if these were evil spirits, I'd be able to exorcise them. Ah, they are. So just try it. Nah, bro got cooked harder than an egg on asphalt in a hot summer day. But then, Ghetto summons his ultimate creation. Use your powers to blow them away! You're the only one that can stop them! No, don't stoop to their level, Mob. Let the adult handle this. At this rate, we're all gonna die! Mob has no clue what to do, but then he's just like, man, if I just kill these guys, everyone will be saved. And the crash out meter is about to max out. But then Reagan slaps him back into the game, hitting him with the iconic line, "It's okay to run away and save yourself!" But then Glasses goes in for the kill, and Mob is not having it. Those are the eyes of a monster. Mob has given the enemy his condolences before he lays them out, but then Reagan just stands up like he didn't just get his ass beat. I guess the Messiah is working miracles. Turns out that when Reagan told Mob that it's okay to run away, the power swelling inside Mob temporarily transferred over to Reagan, thus powering him up. Glasses hits Reagan with a decapitation slash, but that shit bounces off like a styrofoam toy sword, and Reagan snaps that shit in two. Then Gato's ultimate minion goes in for a hit. That's all you got? And Reagan dispatches him like it was nobody's business. Don't get cocky. Like, what? Huh? Are you kidding me? Did you not just see what Reagan did? Reagan majestically swipes away the clones and Chinboy is sweating up bullets.
You guys are total frauds.
Nah, Reagan saying that is crazy work. Just try that thing with the black orbs again. And bro swats away these black holes like he's waving away smoke from his face. But Leader is going all out. They hit Reagan with a gravity modified tackle, a punch, and then a dive bomb back into the building. Are you still conscious? I didn't think so. Shut up. When speaking to someone, you should really take off your mask. And you'd think that Reagan would grab the body and take off the mask, but no. Bro grabs this bitch's face and throws the division leader so hard that the body leaves the mask. Reagan is still getting attacked by Glasses and the clone guy. Glasses even pulls out the switch, and Reagan just swats the bullet away at point blank. Then our Messiah starts giving shit to the clone guy for his goofy ass shoulder pads and Eye of Sauron looking forehead tattoo. But come on, let the guy have his drip. Reagan starts his talk no jutsu process, and after shattering the delusions of these misfits, the leader, who is the first real unk of the series, is back. Apparently bro wants to be popular, but mom is like, nah, having psychic powers doesn't make you popular. So we get the first non-mob crash out. Disappear! 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 Straight up, bro actually sounded like that. And the orange-haired kid from before hits the leader with a telekinetic freeze into a goddamn 1990. Like, damn, bro got pulverized into the ground. Apparently, the kid was ordered to inspect the division to see if anyone was fit to be brought back to HQ, but nobody in the actual division was good enough. But there's one last enemy. The evil spirit that got out of Geto's gladiator jar. And against all odds, Dimple is back. And apparently Reagan is now able to see him because of his temporary use of Mob's power, which has led to Mob and Reagan employing Dimple for exorcism jobs. The season ends with Gramps and Ritsu apologizing to Metal Bat, Teru training the 5 weakling psychics so that they can defend themselves against Claw, and the orange-haired kid calling his dad, telling him that nobody was good enough to bring to HQ at the 7th Division. So this kid's dad is probably Claw's boss, and the kid is probably the artificially produced psychic. And that's all for season 1. Like and subscribe if it was funny.